All right. Greetings, Aero and friends. We have many friends on our side of the veil tonight joining in this conversation. Delighted to be present with you, dear ones, truly. So let us begin by sharing our message. It's tempting to imagine that your world is still in the midst of chaos. And we talked about this energy beginning in early 2020. But we want you to take a moment and remember February, March of 2020. That was truly a time of chaos. In this time of January 2021, you have turned a corner in terms of the level of chaos in your vibration. So at this point, while there's still a lot of confusion, there's still a lot of chaos, it is beginning to recede. And in this time of chaos, it is basically the pool of all possibilities. When you are in chaos, it simply means that you're in the unknown. Something that we've been talking to you about now for a couple of years, that the way forward for you, in order to heal and break free of fear, it is so important that you become peaceful in the unknown. If you have been seeking happiness but not truly experienced it, if you have been seeking peace but not truly known it, then you are going to want to be at peace in the unknown, because what you haven't yet experienced lives in that vibration in the unknown. So in your society, you have been taught to fear the unknown. We're working with you in this way to encourage you to remember that if you truly own and understand self as the creator of your reality, then you don't have to generate fear. Because if you acknowledge, I created this, I co-created this, I allowed this, where is the fear? It is only that you imagine that other people have control over you, or other people are having a negative impact on you, that you begin to generate waves of fear. And in that doubt, confusion, uncertainty, you also then begin to generate pain. Pain and fear are meant to be motivators, not punishment, not overwhelm, but motivators. So whenever you are experiencing any facet of fear, doubt, uncertainty, confusion, resistance, anything you could name, then what you want to look at, what are you resisting that you would need motivation to become aware of? Your way forward into the unknown in all things is to broaden, deepen, and expand your awareness. What is this feeling? What is this uncertainty? What is it meant to draw my attention to? When you address your uncertainty when it's small, it never has to begin to generate trauma or drama or fear or pain itself. It can be resolved by taking the initiative to respond to it when it is simply uncertain. So we're encouraging you to respond more quickly to your own wants, needs, and desires. Don't let them get so big that you must generate discomfort in order to motivate self to change. In the past, your society has been male-centric, meaning right makes might. And you've lived with that for quite a long time, since before your World War I. You had a whole epoch of time that was truly all about male authority. The bigger, the stronger, the meaner, the more violent, then the more powerful. And what you're experiencing now is the last, what we might call one of the last hurrahs of that male-centric vibration. Because what's happening is, like a pendulum, the male energy has swung so far out of balance, it's beginning to crumble. It's beginning to come apart in terms of its effectiveness. And now the pendulum will begin to swing back, engaging the feminine energy, which is very different from the might makes right. Feminine energy is about including everyone. Feminine energy is about releasing the not good enough and releasing the better than. And so as the male energy wants to engage elitism better than, and it wants to engage violence, and it wants to engage control and ownership over others, it can't maintain. There's not enough love in that to allow it to maintain that vibration. So this is what you're seeing in your world. This is your capital event. This is your fear. So many who are fearful of trying to figure out how to learn to live in the unknown. They don't want to let go of fear. They don't want to let go of the way it's been. They don't want to let go of what they know as their normal, even though their normal is full of discomfort, is full of uncertainty, is full of fear and pain. And so what we want to do is to plant some seeds of hope, some seeds of comfort and reassurance that this aggressive violence, it's beginning to stutter, it's beginning to shake itself apart. Will there be more episodes of violence in the political national arena? Absolutely, yeah. Are they going to be overwhelming in terms of number of people and amount of destruction? At this point, we would say no. You have bypassed 3 opportunities in the last 3 months in which you would have gone down a path that would have led you to civil war in this country. So it's been like threading a needle, yeah, the way the energy has been threading a needle to stay in more of a balanced situation. So one of the ways that you can support the healing, i.e. the rebalancing of the energetic focus, is for you to begin that process for yourself, to begin to value the feminine energies. Feminine energies are the ones that make room for everyone, that find value in everyone, that find opportunity in co-creating, that find community is more valuable than being the loner, that there is greater strength in the co-creation in community than there is in being the one lone separate individual. There's nothing wrong with being an individual, but there's so much greater peace, love, connection, potential for growth, potential for positive expansion when you remember that I belong to this thing called the human race, and that I begin to value other members of that group. And as you begin to value other members of the human race, you begin to realize that there's other consciousness, and you begin then to extend that sense of valuing to cover all consciousness. In this way, when you start to connect over what you have in common, I'm a human, you're a human, I love, you love, I have family that's important to me, you have family that's important to you, it's much more difficult to engage in violence because you see self in others. And this is the first steps towards reminding all of you that you're a piece and a part of all that is. You're not meant to live as separate individuals without the embrace of your community, which is the human race. You're meant to be an individual within that community, not separate, not alone, but part of the all that is, a unique facet, a unique perspective, but not separated, not alone. And if you think about it, so much of the pain of your human experience comes from this concept that you are separate, you are less than, you are not good enough, you are by yourself while you look on others who are joined. And this generates tremendous pain because it breaks the sense of safety and security. It breaks the sense of belonging. It breaks the sense of esteem. And if a human cannot develop a sense of safety, security, belonging, and esteem, they can never engage their creativity. They can never engage the ownership of the creation of the life. They are always at victim, at the mercy of what others would create for them or to them. So they never completely engage their own power. And if they can never engage their own power, they can never step into the knowingness that they are beloved of God, that they are adored, that they are a piece and a part of all that is. And until they begin to grasp that concept, they can never move into the esoteric, which is the awareness of your relationship with Source, with your Creator, with God, Goddess, all that is. So while this seems like a very complex process, in truth, it is not. The process of the individual in beginning to understand their safety and security is based upon the love they allow themselves to give and to receive. That belonging is based upon that same love that they allow themselves to give and to receive. That their esteem is based upon their ability and willingness to give and to receive love. And so pain, fear, and all of these constrictive faces of pain and fear break this foundation. They break the safety and security. They break the belonging. They break the esteem. And so, as it is with the individual, it is with the whole. Your race of beings, your human consciousness, is in the same process that you as an individual are in. Some individuals are already into the knowingness and they're reaching for that one-on-one awareness of their one-on-one relationship with Source, with God, Goddess, all that is. Not as a mental concept, not as, well, God loves you. No. We're talking about an awareness that is the same as the awareness of a loving relationship with another human, the realness that I can depend upon God, that I can communicate with God, that I am aware when God focuses upon me. That's what we're talking about in terms of relationship, not as just this hopefully good feeling mental construct that maybe, as the song says, Jesus loves me, but so much more. Because in that birthing of your awareness of your relationship, you are reminded that you are and always have been part of the all that is. God, Goddess, all that is. So it's not complex. It's not difficult, but it is complex. But if you remember that your work in this is the same as every other member of the human race, it becomes a little easier to imagine yourself working through these steps and understanding that fear is a resistance to receiving love, and that pain is a resistance to remembering, not learning, not figuring out, but remembering that you are part of all that is. And so the idea that you generate, believe in, operate within the vibration of pain and fear, you are refusing love and you are refusing the embrace of your Creator. So, and you're not judged for it. God's not going to judge you and say, you didn't let me in. No. But by letting yourself release the fear and release the pain and begin to receive the greater flow of love and light, it's as if you awaken from darkness into sunlight. The difference is so profound. The only one that can do that is you. We cannot do it for you. We cannot do it for our channel. We can simply remind you that this is your greater path to joy, to freedom, to happiness, to the peace that you seek. But each individual must choose for themselves. And as you can see from your world, some people are so reluctant to give up what they perceive as their power. I've got a gun and you don't. That makes me more powerful. I've got an affiliation with a belief system that says might makes right. And because I buy into that, I'm going to live that way without acknowledging that if I have to be right, someone else has to be wrong. And if you have to be right and someone else has to be wrong, where's the love? Your way forward into peace, into joy, into connection is not through violence. It's not through control. These are facets of fear and pain. Your way forward is through love. Yes. The greatest energy that exists. It's simply because you believe in the power of the fear and you believe in the power of pain that you hold it as stronger than love. But the truth is, it is a drop in the ocean compared to the power of love. So we want you contemplating what it means as an individual that you are resisting the flow of love. Where would love take you? It takes you into the unknown. Yeah, it takes you into the unknown. And so we end this part of our sharing the way we began it. We encourage you to make peace with the unknown. Because if you begin to trust yourself, to respond in a loving way to whatever arises in your environment, then you can step into the unknown without any fear. That is the quality we're asking you to imagine for self, to practice for self, to exercise, to grow like a muscle. And one of the ways you can do that is you can look into your past and you can see where you did not respond with love. You can see where you were motivated by pain and fear to turn away from love, to turn away from compassion, to turn away from kindness, to turn away from thoughtfulness. And instead become very defensive, like a porcupine, poking everybody away. So they couldn't see what you believe to be the truth of you, the brokenness of you, the failure of you. So this idea that you now have a brand new opportunity, birthed in December of 2020, a vibrational rebirthing for the entire human race. And in that rebirthing, you're going to have to choose fear and pain consciously in order to hold on to it. That's a very big opportunity. And so the more you begin to trust yourself to be able to exist in the unknown, to know peace, the less you have the temptation to consciously choose fear and pain. Now, as we said, every individual is on this journey, but every individual is a different place along the pathway. So don't try to judge your progress by looking at someone that might have already found their way, done their work of healing to know themselves already in this depth of relationship with God, or already into the knowingness, or already claiming and consciously working to create their reality. Instead, be motivated by that. That's what's possible for me, because they have something in common with me. They are human consciousness. I am human consciousness. They are part of all that is. I am part of all that is. It's important at this time that you become aware of the judgments you hold on self and the judgments you hold on others. The judgments and the, what you call them in English, the rationalizations, the blaming, or all of these are avoidance of responsibility. And so one of the ways you can engage the expansion of claiming responsibility is at least once a day to stand in your life. I am here now. And I am here now because I made choices that brought me to this place. My choices brought me into this here now. Once you start owning that, you look around and decide, do I like here and now? Some parts of it, some parts not so much. All right. Then if there are parts of your creation that you do not like, do not enjoy, do not generate peace or happiness, work to edit them. Meaning, acknowledge them, understand why you were attracted to creating them, forgive yourself for creating something that did not generate peace or happiness, and allow change to happen. These steps work every time. Your challenge is to not keep reclaiming who you used to be. And the way to do that, we're going to say it one more time, is to make peace with the unknown. You claim the past because you're not able to be peaceful in the unknown. The more you're able to be peaceful in the unknown by trusting self, by trusting that you're supported by God, Goddess, all that is, by trusting that this is your way forward into joy, into peace, into happiness, the easier it is to let go of the pain and fear. So when we talk about consciously choosing, that's what we're talking about. Every time you remember the pain of the past, you remake it as part of who you are in this moment. Every time you remember the fear of the past, you remake it as part of your vibration now. It is only as you begin to edit and change your choices, your awareness, I am creating this. My thoughts, my feelings, my expectations, my attitudes, my beliefs, the raw materials with which you generate through the machinery of your subconscious mind the next moment of your reality. The subconscious does not function by itself. You have to put the raw materials into it. Your experiences generate the raw materials, but your judgment, your perception of those experiences also get fed into the subconscious. If you have an experience with a dog and the dog growls and snaps and bites at you and charges at you and frightens you, it's easy to begin to say, dogs are bad. And if you don't ever go back and edit that, if you don't ever go back and say, well, that was one bad dog, and maybe somebody that looked like me kicked him, or maybe I got between him and his dinner, or maybe something about me frightened him. If you don't begin to develop an understanding and generate compassion as a result of it and forgiveness as a result of it, then the subconscious will stick with the original belief, which is all dogs are bad. And you will go forward in your reality, all dogs are bad. It's your subconscious. It's your reality. You are responsible for the quality of the raw materials. If you don't like something reflected in your here and now, it's on you to edit the thoughts, the feelings, the expectations, the attitudes, the beliefs that are generating what's not pleasing you. This is taking responsibility at a very basic but extremely powerful level. And do you know what's in your subconscious? Of course not. Your subconscious came online the moment the sperm met the egg. What do you remember about that consciously? Not much. If your conscious brain was full of that, your life would be miserable. You wouldn't be able to function. There would be information overload all the time. So it has to percolate down into the subconscious and become part of the database of experience the subconscious uses to create your reality. So our bottom line, if you will, our summation of this is that the more that you begin to understand there is a purpose for the changes that you're experiencing as an individual and as a race of being, and that those changes are opportunities for you to expand your vibration as an individual and as a race of beings. You can begin to look at your environment with a lot less fear. Well, I see other people locked into violence and rage and attempting to control, attempting to hang on to the limiting power of rage and pain and fear. I don't feel an attachment to that. I don't feel a desire for that. I can have compassion that they are that stuck that they are that compromised. But I can choose differently for myself. I can acknowledge I am safe. I do have a sense of belonging to family, to friends, to other humans, to my world. And that safety, security, and belonging generates a sense of peacefulness with I am. I'm not perfect, but I do have aspects of myself that I like. I like my curiosity. I like my perseverance. I like my tenacity. I like my kindness, etc., etc., etc. Now you've got the basics, the safety, security, the belonging, and the esteem to now begin to do the work we're talking about, which is the creation, i.e., becoming aware I am the creator, moment by moment, of my reality. The machinery of that happens in the subconscious, outside of the now. But the input, the raw materials, the perception of how reality is functioning happens in the conscious brain. So there's a partnership, like machinery, where it pulls it in, pushes it out, pulls it in, pushes it out. So it's tempting to say, well, it's in the subconscious, it's not my fault, something is broken in there. Well, it's not about fault, it's about responsibility. Who put it in there? Raise your hand, that would be you. Your subconscious is full of what you've put into it. So if you don't like what's in there, or if you don't know what's in there, take responsibility for working to find out, using the tools of hypnosis, NLP, or looking at your life and asking, what would someone have to believe to generate what I'm living? Helps you start to dig into an awareness of your thoughts, your emotions, your expectations, your attitudes, and your beliefs. You begin to understand your own raw materials by taking responsibility for them and taking responsibility for knowing what they are and how they work in your reality. It's not that difficult. It's just that you've never contemplated doing this kind of work before. But it is some of the most freeing and most empowering work you can do as a human being. And so you are drawn to it because by your very nature as a human consciousness, you are drawn to expressions of power. And if you can't find peace, i.e., can't let go of the fear and the pain as an individual, you will give over your power, which is your ability and willingness to choose is the basis of human power. When you don't choose for self and you expect someone else, whoever it is, your soul, your spirit, your neighbor, the police, the guy with the gun on the corner, to choose for you, they will. And you will not be able to access your own power. And this is very distressing to the human condition. This generates the stress, which then begins to give birth to the pain and the fear. So it becomes a very vicious cycle. So breaking the cycle involves taking responsibility, even if you don't completely understand how the machinery of creation works, beginning to look at what raw materials am I working with? What part of my life do I love and what part do I not love? And what do I want to change? And since I only create what serves me, this thing that I'm not thinking is beautiful or wonderful that I've created, somehow it serves me. And I want to understand that before I let it go so I don't do it again. So we know this is a lot. There's wheels within wheels, gears and cogs within gears and cogs. But we're hoping that we keep introducing these concepts and they begin to break into your consciousness in a way that generates a curiosity on your part. How can I take the next step? Awareness is always the first step. There's something I want to change. We've listed over and over again the raw materials. Start making a list for yourself. We know some of you just do not approve of paper and pencil. All right, do it on a computer. You can't hold it up here. It's too slippery. You're not used to looking for this information. So when you find it, write it down somewhere. Keep a list. What I've identified as my thoughts about my responsibility in creating this. And you'll be amazed at how much you don't want to take responsibility. It's the government's. It's my mother's. It's somebody's, because I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, you will find all sorts of confusion in there. Expectations. It's not something you really put your focus on, and yet you live every moment of your day with some level of expectation. I expect other people to be as nice as me. How's that working for you? I expect that that the climate is going to be balanced, and it's not going to be too hot or too cold. And how's that working for you? See, you've got to dig into your expectations, and then you've got to dig into the realness of them. Because sometimes you just like to tell the fairy tale rather than to look at the truth. Because the truth feels overwhelming and it feels frightening. But the truth is power. And so when you find a truth that you don't understand, don't immediately push it away. Sit with it. Ask for help to understand it. Try to break it down into its component parts so it's more easy to work with. We could spend days talking about this. We don't want to take all your time for that. But we do want to also shift gears briefly and talk about some of the things happening in your national realm. We've talked to you in the last several months, several times, about living in the eye of the storm. We've talked to you that each of you at one or more points in this process of awakening to this new vibration will be hit with a truth that shakes you to your core. And you then have a choice from that moment to be different or to retreat into fear, trying to hold on to who you have been in the past. And so this incident at the Capitol was one of those pivotal awakening moments for many people. Are you a citizen that's going to tolerate violence to this degree, where you're afraid to walk on your own streets, that you're afraid to walk into a government building, that you're afraid of other citizens? Because if that's what you want, then do nothing. Do nothing. If it's not what you want, then seek to find the eye of the storm for yourself, understanding I will not become violent. I will seek to, and I'm not drawn to violence, and I'm not drawn to give it or receive it. I believe we can resolve things with conversation, with community, with caring, by focusing on what we have in common. I don't feel a need to be drawn into violence. And I am generating compassion for those that feel that their way of life is slipping away, and they're desperate to hold on to it because they fear the unknown. As my gift to them, I'm going to step into the unknown. I'm going to generate the self-trust and the self-love that will allow me to peacefully step into the unknown. I will begin to make a map that if they choose, they can follow. They too will have opportunity after opportunity to make new choice, just as you are having opportunity after opportunity. If you judge them as bad and wrong, then you are the one who's creating the pain of separation, the pain of better than, the pain of less than. You are generating those feelings within self, and even if you never meet them, within them. This new world requires new skills, new tools, and a new level of moment-by-moment responsibility. So, in the past, that's what was done. Judgment. Blame. Nothing changed. It got worse. If you pick up the old tools, you re-engage the old vibration, consciously choosing fear and pain. If instead I'm tempted to do that because it makes my heart stop hurting for a moment. But it doesn't completely stop the pain. Then you have to make a different choice. And that choice is to consciously step into the unknown. I don't know how to change the world on my own. I just know how to take responsibility for me. I'm turning away from violence. Right there, that's a powerful step into a new paradigm. Because I don't want to be responsible for generating pain for myself and others. So you set a new vibrational bar that invites others to step up to it with you. And this is how you walk into change. Yes. Generating compassion for those that are locked into the old paradigm. So the more of you that step into the new vibration, the more of you that begin to understand how much strength it takes, how much passion it requires, how much determination. So these voices that say, oh, you're weak, you're running away, you begin to understand that's their manipulation, not your truth. This is a pivotal time for the individual, but also for the race of beings of which you are part. Human destiny is in your hands at this moment. It's in your hands, your choices. Yeah. So find the joy in that, dear ones. This is why you came. This is why you wanted this life and this experience to be here now. Remember that and let it comfort you. Let it motivate you. Let it encourage you. Ask for help from those who love without condition. All of you have guides. All of you have spirits. All of you have souls. All of you have got the beginnings, some of you way stronger than others, of connectivity to Source. Prayer works. It's mental, emotional communication. Words are powerful. Emotions are powerful. If nothing else, work with prayer. Prayers of gratitude. Yeah. Begin to connect to the vibration of hope. While it feels overwhelming, while it feels frightening, find the moments of inspiration and feed them your attention. All these bad things happened, and here's 2 or 3 good ones. I can put my attention here and feed the negativity, or I can water these flowers. I can grow this garden. Yes. What you focus on will grow in 2021. But focus is indiscriminate. It doesn't say, hey, let's focus on good stuff or let's focus on bad stuff. That's not its problem. That's not its job. Its job is to amplify what you focus on. Take a moment with that thought. How many negative thoughts did you have today? That stupid driver. That is overpriced. That is bad and wrong. You know you did. We know you did. How many positive thoughts did you have today? Huh. Yeah. It's your brain, dear one. It's your heart. You can turn its focus to what you want to turn it to. You can continue to be seduced by the siren call of the negativity, or you can begin to listen to a new sound of encouragement, of curiosity, of inspiration. There's technological breakthroughs. How many of you are aware of the revolution that's coming in robotics? It's huge. The breakthroughs in the technology for robotics have been exponential growth in the last 3 years alone. How many of you have read about it? How many of you are curious about it? And yet it's a huge wave for your future. If you have money that you want to invest, we're going to suggest you start investing in companies that are generating robotics. They'll be in every household within a decade. Yeah. How many of you are aware of alternative energy sources? See, there's so much positivity, so much you could be choosing to focus upon. Focus does not care what you focus on. Its job is to amplify what you focus on. So if you're focused on, I'm working for a bad guy, he's always mean, he's always creating problems, he's a jerk, guess what's going to get amplified? I never have enough money. I'm always worried about money. I don't know why. I'm being punished. Somehow I'm being... Guess what's going to be amplified? Everyone I meet, I want to meet somebody special. I want to be in love, but everybody's a user and abuser. Everybody just takes. Nobody gives. There's no... Guess what you're going to create? Your thoughts, your heart, your choice. And that's where we'll end our message this evening. One powerful word, choice. If you don't like what your life is reflecting to you, look at the choices that generate it and change on that level. We know it's a different kind of message than we normally share, but we think most appropriate for you at this time. So we thank you for your kind attention.